member of Lynn Community Television. I'm joined this evening by Magnolia Contreras and State Representative Dan Cahill, and we're here to bring you the results of the primary election this evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for the invitation.
Well, it's our pleasure. We want to keep the community informed, and there's a public purpose to this, as we know, about providing community service and election results and keeping the community engaged.
Correct.
It's very important. People vote and participate.
It is a very serious night, and it's the best night of year. It's the best night of year because it's election night, everybody. Primary is upon us. The elections of results are on their way. It's going to be an amazing night. We have a great lineup of us three talking for a whole entire hour.
You may have a future.
I'm just excited.
He's been very excited to do this. You did a great job. Wonderful opening.
That's right. People are now tuning in, and they're saying to themselves, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next, Joe?
Well, what's going to happen next is as soon as we have some results from the West Lynn precincts and from Nahant, we'll announce them. But I think we want to say why that seat is opened. I think State Representative Peter Capano is retiring. He's a colleague of yours, and I think you'd like to say a few kind words about him.
I'll start off by saying I want to thank Representative Peter Capano for his decades of service. Peter's been a great friend and an ally. We've worked together on the City Council when he was Ward 6 City Councilor and I was a councilor at large, and we had a lot of fun there. Some things, one day he'll be able to tell some stories about what we've done when I leave public office. And then the last 6 years, he's been up at the State House with us, with Donald Long and Ginny Armini and Brendan Crichton. And it's been a fantastic team. I can't tell you how much it's been a pleasure working with Peter. It's funny, at the State House, they stick the Lynn people together. Peter's office is actually right next to mine, which we preferred because we were able to share a lot of ideas, and when constituents come in, we can do a twofer. But we will miss Peter. Peter is well thought of. He's a very clear, distinct voice in the State House, and as you can tell, he tells it like it is, and I think sometimes people need to hear that. But I'm very happy for him, and he's moved on to other things. He's a student at Berklee School of Music. I don't know if he wants me to tell people that, but he is a college student, and he's fulfilling his dream of music, and I wish him all the best of luck, and I'm going to miss him.
Wonderful. Oh, I absolutely would love to say something about Peter. I want to thank Peter for all of his years of service. I am probably sitting here partly because of him. I met Peter when, we were, I think, working at Neighbor to Neighbor way back many, many decades ago. And he taught me how to be my ward captain and running around Ward 6 and going to his house to report and teaching me the ropes. And I have always had a warm heart for Peter. He has always kept Lynn as his primary focus. And always looking at what the people need, and I've appreciated him, and I love him dearly. I hope you have a great retirement, and your next music gig, let me know.
He's going to be unbelievable. Can't wait.
One thing about Peter that I noticed over the years is his passion for the issues, and you feel that he really feels serious when you listen to him. No one tells it like it is, like Peter Capano. And you know that every word that comes out of his mouth is sincere.
One of my favorite. He's one of my favorite speakers to hear speak. And just one funny story, which you probably get mad at me about. During COVID, the legislature was meeting remotely, so there would be groups of us in a kind of corralled, and we were all on a call-in system. And once in a while, people would forget to press mute. Peter was pretty good at not pressing mute. On one instance, we heard this entire speech he gave, I think it was on veterans, and he must have been at an event, and we're all on the thing voting. And then we hear him go into it, right? And people going, Pete, you're not on mute. I go, hey, everyone, just shush. He's not going to hear you. Just let him go. You got to listen to this. And he gives this, rousing speech. And he ends it, and we're all clapping virtually. And then he just goes back on, and he's like, hey, and we're like, Pete, that was an amazing speech. He's like, you heard that? We're like, every bit of it. He's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. But it was classic Pete, and it was really funny. But it was like entertaining because he gave fantastic speeches.
And they were sincere.
Oh, God, yeah. No notes, just right
Very
at it.
sincere.
We're going to miss him.
Yes, the city
But he's not,
will.
like,
He's not.
dead. He's
Yeah,
like,
yes,
No,
exactly.
he's just going into another phase of his career.
Yeah.
correct.
But, we want to thank him for everything that he has done for the community and the residents in particular. I think that Pete is that voice that residents could hear, they understood, and he had them in mind every time he was advocating for something, wanting to improve the community. He always had the people in mind, not just sort of general community in so many ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, he deserves what he's getting next, and hopefully a little bit more rest, as well as new adventures.
And I think I would like to take this opportunity to send along best wishes to our dear friend Agnes Ricco, who's recuperating. She's doing fine, but I go way back with Agnes in politics. We both started out in, it was the same district, the West Lynn district, and campaigned for Jim Smith back in the 70s.
It wasn't President Jackson?
It wasn't President Jackson and Martin Van Buren weren't around. I mean,
The Whig Party was big back then.
the big, well...
Why don't you share with the community who Agnes is? Because I think there is
a lot of
a
people don't
old
know
school.
Agnes.
That's exactly right. And
Yeah.
in order to sort of
Agnes is
have
our
everybody-
present state Democratic committee person, a woman.
Is she still?
She is. She's
Lifetime member.
like a lifetime position now. But she goes way back to the 70s, organizing, as I said, started with Jim Smith, and she worked for Michael Dukakis,
Charlie Gator.
Charlie Gator, Tony
Yeah.
Marino,
Yeah.
McManus.
Joe Scanlon, Pat McManus,
Dan Cahill.
Dan Cahill,
Walsh.
Everybody now.
Walsh.
Steve
Walsh.
Walsh.
Stevie. Saw him today.
Yeah,
doing
I
good.
mean, it goes on and on and on. And Agnes, like everyone during the campaign, she produced. She needed bodies. She got them. We had 28 precincts. You had 28 poll checkers till 6 o'clock at night. I don't know where some of these people came from, but they came.
Yep. And if
Nobody worked harder than Agnes. Even a candidate sometimes
harder
couldn't
than
work as harder as the. No, sometimes
no.
she worked harder than the candidate.
She worked hard at
Sometimes.
chasing us down. We
Yeah.
would sometimes hide.
Yeah,
But
We were supposed to be campaigning.
that's right.
and there are many. We could have a whole special on stories
on-
of candidates avoiding Agnes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we could have a
Yeah.
panel discussion who had give a prize for the best story.
I think Charlie would win.
But also,
Charlie Gator would win, but
yeah,
win.
yeah. But also Agnes was very much behind candidates who cared about Lynn as well.
and
She made no bones about that. That was part of, why she committed to so many candidates.
she
that they
committed.
were Lynn.
She was 100%. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing I always remember, she ran for a delegate over in Peabody when Michael Dukakis was running for president, and they read her. I think I nominated her, and the cheers in the room at Peabody High School was overwhelming. She won that vote overwhelmingly. So her reputation preceded her beyond Lynn.
And she did 40 years later when Hillary Clinton was running for president.
Yeah.
She ran again for delegate.
right.
And on the first ballot, it was almost, she got every vote in the room.
Yeah. I mean, she was a tireless worker for the party, and
Yeah.
she, and she worked always had the best interests of Lynn and Lynn Woods at heart. I mean, very strong advocate for the Woods. And
Huge. And if you wanted to run for Congress, governor, U.S. Senate,
You had to go through Agnes Street.
call Agnes first. She got
You
a very
had to
nice
go.
call from a gentleman running for governor. Went to Deval Patrick. I said, oh, who's that? She said, I don't know, but he was wonderful on the phone. I liked him very much. But I think at the time, I forget who we were with. We were with a lot of people who didn't win.
oh, that's the way the primaries
It was
go.
Gabrielle. I think Gabrielle was right.
Chris
Oh, yes,
Gabrielli,
it's Gabrielle.
Yeah, we were all kind of with him. We were like, okay. But yeah, I remember her
Yeah.
distinctly. He's very well spoken. I said, oh, all right, one day I'll meet the guy. And one of the greatest orators
Oh, he
the
was
state's ever
tremendous.
seen.
A tremendous orator, I thought. And
Oh yeah, he was President Obama before President Obama was President Obama.
right. And
But I think, part of I hope what's happening today is that people like Agnes are recognized early in the community because they're the gatekeepers in many ways of who runs, who's successful. And I believe that a lot of what she tried to do was to educate people about how electoral politics works in Lynn, and wanted to be sure that at least you're an example of the young generation, and Brendan and some of you guys were able to succeed in your elections. So I think we need more of that.
And we learned, and then we pass that on because it's tough today. You see a lot of young folks it's mostly digital. And the old school politicking that may fade for a little while folks will one day realize this new digital thing, it's hard to get a hold of people. How are we going to get in touch with voters? And then someone's going to say, oh, I heard, years ago what they did was they knocked on people's doors. And, oh my God, what a revolutionary idea. But there's people who, like Agnes, who know how to organize that. And
That's right.
It's not.
I was telling you earlier, it was done with 3x5 cards. She had a 3x5 cards of all the voters, and we had one for every voter, and election day you'd wean out the ones who didn't vote, and that's how the check-in system worked.
Not good for the environment, Joe. A lot of paper.
Yeah, a lot of paper. A lot of telephone calls too.
A lot of ink.
A lot of leaflets. A lot of leaflets in the
back then. A lot of cigarettes.
A lot of cigarettes.
Back then, not anymore.
So
now all the kids are vaping. Don't do that. So do we want to call an early? I'm going to call an early one. This just in. We believe that in Lynn, at least, Senator Elizabeth Warren is going to be victorious in the primary here. So she's going to carry on as a party nominee for the Democratic Party. You heard it here first, folks, on Lynn Television.
And that's very
This is my
informative
election result hat.
Speaking of which, we know your race is too early to call.
Ooh, how's my race doing?
Too early to call.
What do you mean?
We don't have any results.
All right, well, keep me posted. I got to make sure those are going to be okay. I think Magnolia is going to give you the results shortly, hopefully on mine. And then who else? We have a number of folks that are really on the ballot today. Aside from the ones that have primaries, we have people who do not have primaries.
Right.
Per se. Congressman Moulton is on
the ballot
for the 6th Congressional District.
That's right.
We're going to predict that he won tonight.
And carried Lynn.
Is his hat falling apart?
Yeah, not yet.
All right, that's good. Well, it's Amazon, so this is an Apollo Creed hat, if anyone wants to know where I got it.
And we know what happened to him.
Well, R.I.P. Apollo. Chubb. Billy Madison.
Lost the fight, too.
Happy Gilmore. He did.
Yeah.
I know, but him and Rocky became best of friends.
Yeah, right.
It's really a love story. It's really a love story. And then we have some other folks that have served with me in the legislature. Representative Wong was for the 9th Essex District. He was unopposed on the Republican side. I do not believe there was a Democratic challenger. No. Representative Jenny Army, 8th Essex, also. More likely to win her.
You can call that.
I'm going to predict that she is going to win her primary. No one ran against her, and I don't believe there's a Republican on that side either. And then Senator Crichton is in a very tough race against a French candidate, Blanc. And we're going to be watching that intently to make sure that he's made it on to the next level. That's my predictions so far.
The predictions. There's also some other races going on, which obviously we don't have the resources to cover, but there's the Register of Deeds race, and there's Clerk of Courts.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
the 11th.
But those.
The 11th, yeah. It was a very short ballot, if I remember right, this morning. I voted at 7 o'clock, so.
Oof.
But the Register of Deeds, people can read about it in the paper.
Well, it's a bigger district.
It's huge. So, tell us a little bit of what numbers are we getting tonight, and
we're going to be starting with Ward 7. There's some preliminary numbers into the boiler room.
Okay, great.
I just got a message. So.
That's the title bout for Lynn tonight, and this has been a great race.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you saw in the last over the weekend in terms of the campaigns.
Well,
we have some numbers up there.
Oh, do we?
Okay.
All right, so we have some preliminary numbers from somewhere.
It's Ward 7.
These are Ward 7 results.
We don't, is this the whole ward, or is this a precinct?
All right. So voter turnout today, I think, it seems like I was in Cambridge earlier, I was in Milton earlier helping out a couple of campaigns, and it looked like it was a little slow in terms of folks moving in, walking in and out. But I think a lot of it has to do with mail-in ballots.
That's correct. That's changed the whole dynamic, really.
It really has changed. And now as a candidate myself, I'll tell you, you have to change the way you target election day.
Okay, this is Ward 7, I assume, all of Ward 7.
That's all of Ward 7?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a low turnout.
So why don't you, I'm sure those numbers, I've been told, include Nahant.
So that's Ward 7 in Nahant?
Wow.
Interesting. So looks like the three of us represent almost 8% of the voters so far that came out
Well,
in this election.
I voted in Ward 5.
Oh, good. You voted twice.
Yep.
I only voted.
I always vote more than once, yeah.
As you should. And wow, that's striking, because if you're looking at like a city election, I mean, that's really like sometimes one precinct.
One precinct.
In a ward.
I was going to say that.
So what's interesting about this race is that, when you don't have a lot of other folks on the ballot, it becomes a grudge match where you got to try to drag people out.
Well, that's what, and again, when we're thinking about future elections, what role does getting up the vote play? How do they do that?
It's huge.
It's
How
really
do
hard, because
you-
now you have to plan. It used to be, when you did a campaign, you'd say, okay, election is September 3rd. I want this mailer to hit, right before the Labor Day, and then I want this to...
Exactly.
Now you have to get, the list from the city clerks on who's requested the early ballots, and that comes out earlier on in like July.
Yeah.
And then you got to start peppering those folks with either phone calls or mailings, and a lot of times people are out of state because they're traveling or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It makes it so election day is like 3 to 4 weeks long.
Yeah, the dynamic has changed dramatically. As we were talking earlier about rides to the polls and
Well, in this
buses
election,
and all that, it's changed.
this is the kind of election where getting out that vote, right to the polls, calling people, do you need a ride? All of the activity that a campaign typically did later in the day, like
6 o'clock.
between 3 and
right.
7. But how do you strategize to do that?
It's
how do you
really
plan
hard.
to do that? And
people watch at the door?
People don't even pick up their cell phones. I mean, their phones,
How many
right?
texts are you getting for the presidential? I get a
It's
text every 3 seconds.
2 minutes,
I get
exactly.
candidates from like Ohio, like, hey, Dan. I'm like,
So we are very
Ohio?
dependent on residents to exercise their constitutional right to vote, however way makes it easy for you, but certainly is giving those running for election a run for their money.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's really mastered this change in the dynamics either.
No.
Not at the local level. I think
No.
nationally, that's obviously that's easy.
different.
Yeah.
It's too expensive to do it locally.
Yeah.
I mean, like polling is out of the question, because now to get a good poll, you're spending like over $10,000 just for a poll. And then you need, the software capabilities of, you need the data to put it into it.
Right.
And that means you got to start door knocking way early to try to get your numbers in. And then you have to find there are programs out there that kind of help. But as far as the GOTV, aside from texting, like there's not much help out there.
Yeah,
really
but
tough.
before there was a lot of satisfaction that candidates would get because we knew that we dropped off Joe Scanlon and we dropped that off, right? And you
Yeah, the
sort
number.
of you
1,
counted,
2,
you
3.
right?
Oh,
And today
Yeah.
it's a little bit more.
I told you those index cards, if someone said, yes, I'm voting for him, you put a 1 on it.
Yep. Now it's Vote Builder. You got to go to the app, and you got to find the person, and you got to press a little button.
You just take the cards out of your
It's
pocket.
easier, but it's a little bit.
It's more
difficult.
satisfying when you have a stack of paper and you're like, oh, look at all these 1s and 2s, as
That's
opposed to like,
That's right.
I'm going to download it from the cloud, and then I'll create a spreadsheet, and then I'll be able to see it.
It's the same idea, it's just changed.
It's just changed. It's
Yeah.
more efficient, but it is harder to get to voters that
I
way.
think so.
Yeah, and it's harder to reach people too.
Very.
People reluctant to open the door. The landlines aren't as reliable anymore.
Landlines are gone.
Landlines are, I was going to say.
There we come.
Many
They
They used to
people
bundle
don't have
their cable.
Here's some more results.
Yeah, this is close. So now,
This includes Ward 4.
Well, so this will be precincts 4, 3.
And is it 4-3?
Yeah, I have 4-1-4-2. Jenny Armini has 4-4, and they have 4-3.
4-3, and that includes Nahant, Ward 7, and 4-3 now.
All right. So what's outstanding is Ward 6
Ward
and Ward
6
5.
is, oh,
and parts of Ward 5.
Not all of Ward 5, right?
Nope. No. 5-4, 5-3, 5-1. I have 5-2. So
I have
close.
Yep.
a little announcement if I have
Sure,
the time to read
I
it.
think
do you want to wear my
So
hat?
I will.
No.
No,
No, I think she's smarter to wear
my hat for the announcement?
If you like LCTV's election and community event coverage, please consider becoming a member or a sponsor. Being a sponsor not only helps us to pay our bills, but it also helps your organization or business to get their name out there. Plus, both members and sponsors can also create content here, and we'll show you actually how to do it. To find out more about individual membership or sponsorship level, visit linntv.org or simply visit us at 181 Union Street. We're here for anybody that would like to become a member, business or an individual. Thank you.
What a great job. No landline to call, I guess, huh?
No.
So, thank you for the PSA. It's very
Welcome.
important.
Thank you for the hat.
Public access.
It'll make people
Public
join.
access, that's,
Very
You're like one of those.
what, this public access is so important because a lot of people are dropping cable now, and newspapers are becoming very passé, maybe is a word to use.
Yep.
And how are people going to be informed about how government works without cable coverage of newspapers or whatever? It leaves the whole thing wide open and new frontiers there that may not yield credible results,
And LCT does a fantastic job of
Yes.
covering local politics. So if you want to watch the local zoning board of appeals, planning board, on the way here, I was just making sure that Channel 37 on Fios worked in my house, so my kids could watch it. I will. Charlotte. They wanted a shout out. I was watching a food insecurity meeting, and it was great. There's a lot of good local content.
and-
Here we go.
Ooh,
Is this-
Ward
more
6.
numbers.
So this is Ward 6?
Includes Ward 6.
Sean
close
was
race.
working Ward 6 so hard.
Yeah, well,
Sean was working it.
it showed.
Yeah.
But Han did a great job in
Yeah.
Ward
Yeah.
6 too. So 7, 6, 4,
5 is next.
5 is next. So 5's going to decide it because that's the remaining.
Yep.
That is the remaining ward precincts that are outstanding. But it's only well, actually. So one of the largest voting blocks in 5 is going to be the senior voting because of 5-4.
Yes.
So that could be very telling. I know both candidates were working very hard, trying to get folks at some of the senior housing complexes, and also we're working Mass Senior Action that has a great grassroots organization. So they've been working those in the Lynn Senior Center for quite some time.
Yes.
So it could be very interesting. It's definitely not a runaway. It's definitely going to become
Very
close.
tight.
It looks at, there's like three precincts, and one is a very high voting precinct, 5-4.
But that's what you want in the community, right? You have the Mass Senior Action members and the Senior Center. They are just committed to this. They are the example of why it's important for us to cover this, even if it's lackluster to many people, but it's still important because we need to communicate to the community about elections. But this matters, and I think that the seniors are an example of people who care about this, and they've been working hard, and Sean's been working hard, and Hong Nak has been working hard, and I hope that people can see that, and we'll see it in the
These
results.
senior groups do a good job of keeping their members informed of the issues. And a lot of these issues mean a lot to seniors. It's it's your income, it's your programs that you need. It's a lot there.
Yes, but it's also love for the city,
Yeah, but I'm just
even when it's not sort of a personal
No.
necessarily.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what they do. They do a good job with the seniors and
Yeah.
keeping them informed.
Yeah.
everything else. And
they're
you make a
organized.
good point about the love for the city, because people been here a while, seem to have stronger roots, and they...
And they hold our feet to the fire.
Yes, they do.
We're always invited to the Senior Center and Mass Senior Action and other organizations, and they don't hold back. They don't pull punches. They let you know what is bothering them, and they want to know answers, and they're not looking for you to give them this loquacious response that says nothing.
Yeah.
They put it right on you.
And, you may feel uncomfortable as a public official in a forum like that, but when you think about it in the bigger picture, it's a healthy thing.
Oh, it's great. And if you don't like it,
Here,
it should be
more
the
numbers are coming up.
Exactly.
Ooh, so what do
Final
we...
numbers are coming up.
We faded out.
We're
back.
Yeah.
Are we ready to call my race?
Yeah.
All right. What's going on with my race?
We're going to project that you're nominated.
Me? Thank you, everyone. And with that, the end of the show. Look at me keep on panning out to get the top of my head. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate everyone, all 8 people that went out and voted today in the 10th Essex District. We look forward to, 2 more years of working hard with the city of Lynn.
This is a final?
Wow, well, congratulations. That was a very close race.
It was.
You going to call it for Sean Reed?
It looks
It looks like they are. 1374 Sean Reed, 1198 for Hong Nat.
Wow, so what's that? I'm going to pull up my 1374. Only 176 votes separated them. That's pretty close, if you ask me. That's probably one of the closest votes we've had in a long time.
Long
Sitting
time,
on a one-on-one
yeah.
race.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I want to
Congratulations.
congratulate
Good people.
Hong Nat, who is a consummate gentleman. I've served with Hong many years in the city council. He's a gentleman. He's a fantastic father and just well-loved throughout the city. I think you see that with this vote tally. And congratulations to Sean Reed.
Reed, yes.
Young guy, energetic, passionate about the city, passionate about the issues. Young family here in the city, product of the city. And we look forward to working with him.
Yeah, one thing, 2 of them were in here a few weeks ago with the debate, and they both had compelling life stories.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's very impressive. So
It's resonated with voters. And
Yeah.
for the most part, we've seen in the last, 10 years, maybe 10 to 12 years, we've seen 3 state representative races for that 11th Essex.
yes,
And all of them had excellent candidates in it.
yes, we had
No one ever got, never got contentious or dirty or negative or anything like that, which is, I think, a testament to the city of Lynn and their voters, where people who want to do good get involved.
I think
I think these 2 are a perfect example. Both
Yes.
gentlemen, they both respected each other. They, all you saw was a nice camaraderie in every single event that they had together. I think a lot of respect for each other. So, and they publicly stated that
yes,
every time.
We saw that last time around 2018 with Drew Russo, Hong Nat, and Peter Capano. They were all gentlemen. It was a very, above board race, shall we say.
Yes.
There's nothing, no dirty politics, no name calling.
No.
Nothing like that.
We're all friends.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is,
Yeah.
all of us, a lot of us are
Yeah.
actual friends with one another. So it would be a good example for maybe some other races in the country to take some examples from here in Lynn on how you can be disagreeable but in an agreeable way, and you can campaign on your record and campaign on what you believe in.
Okay, well, why don't you? We'll say that they're limited results. So I'm talking to the boiler room here.
Okay.
So,
This will be on the other races. They have partial results from the district.
And this is just from the 11th Essex District results for the other candidates.
That's correct,
Okay.
that we have.
Just to be clear, it's just from the 11th Essex.
It's not a trend. It's not, we disavow anything.
But this might be the biggest voting turnout
see.
in this area, so it might be indicative. Oh, we can stare lovingly into each other's eyes on the TV.
Yeah.
So Dan,
Yes.
as we wait for
Here it
the
is.
information.
Oh.
Here we go.
So in the 11th
Deeds.
Essex District, this was the result?
Yeah, for registered deeds.
Deeds.
Yeah. Yep. Eileen Duff, 1787. Joe Gentleman, 917. That's in the Democratic side. And then Mr. Ring, 157 on the Republican side.
Boy, I'm not sure about the numbers, but is that eclipse? Is that 28, about 2,800 votes for the register of deeds? What do we have for the rep seat? 2,000 and? Huh. Just curious if there was much of a different, if people were going in to just vote
Oh, for
for one of those.
Well, the 12 write-ins, let's say, with the Democrats, but that's not enough to,
No, so it looks like Eileen, well, if you were going to, if the 11th Essex is a bellwether district, you would think that it would be Eileen Duff that would be capturing the Democratic nomination.
yeah,
and
but
then
that's very hard to say because,
it's a very big district,
yes.
very big. And
Okay.
hats off to Eileen for running, which we should also, since we're giving, why don't you give this announcement?
Yeah, that's Mr. Doherty, 623, and Tom Driscoll, 1847.
For clerk of courts.
Yep.
They both
Wow.
look shocked in their pictures.
Yes, that's very good.
It actually looks more like, these are wanted people. And if you see
People will
them,
find
please
them, I
call
think.
the authorities. Do not engage these
they'll
folks.
be
They're-
found.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Driscoll, obviously, Tom Driscoll has roots in Swampscott, Lynn. His father was a city councilor in Lynn many, many years ago.
And he's been working this campaign
Yeah.
very hard. He's been everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere. Back to the Register of Deeds race, we have to also thank
John O'Brien.
long
that's
time
right.
serving John O'Brien. So tell us some John O'Brien stories.
I had the privilege of missing John O'Brien on the city council. He got elected Register of Deeds the year before I got elected to the council.
What year was that?
He got elected Register of Deeds in 1976. I got elected to the council in 1977.
Wow.
Jimmy Carter came to Lynn in, 1980? Or 78,
There's
78.
still some pictures of
Yeah.
that on the City Hall
Yeah.
front steps.
Exciting years, though, those first few years. I was with the blizzard of 78.
Wonderful.
We had all kinds of things happening.
John's done a
Wow.
tremendous job.
Yeah.
Obviously one of the probably longest serving registers ever.
Well, he beat a gentleman way back then by the name of Leo Jones, who was a Republican who had been there forever, too.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I never heard
Wow.
that.
Yeah. And,
And he must have been, what, 20-something years old?
well, when I first got involved with politics, John was elected to Ward 6 at 18.
Wow. Wow.
18.
Okay.
Wow. Well, young people, it's never too early or late.
This is our boiler room. We wanted to show people where these results are tabulated. So we
They're doing
have,
a great job.
yeah,
And we have people on the streets
we have people on the streets.
getting these numbers.
Sarah Johnson, Rosario Fresco, Harry McCabe, and Bob Pelchet were in the boiler room for us.
Terrific.
Again, these are the unofficial, official.
Official, unofficial results.
All right.
Wonderful. Sean is pretty pleased. I'm
Yes.
glad he worked really
Yeah, so and that raised
diligently.
2,500,
Yeah, I think it
2,600. So I think it's actually
Okay.
more people voted in the Register of Deeds
Oh, I thought it was close.
election than in the rep race.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If
what that
if
says.
those numbers are correct, yeah.
If they're correct.
Yeah.
So
Peter Capano, I'm told, is in the building. But whether he's
Oh.
coming on.
Wonderful.
Peter
Wonderful.
If he's coming in or not, I don't.
he was hemming and hawing. I said, Pete,
Yeah.
you should come down and say a few things. But he was jamming. So maybe he's put down the bass.
Well,
So, Dan, since you are at the State House
Yes.
for some folks in our community who are new, who really are learning about this political process, talk a little bit about what the role is. What is it that you do, like basic things that you do? Because I'm interested in making sure that new people understand, like, what is this race thing?
I know they should really understand more because we need more people to get involved.
Yeah.
And the state level, what we do is we monitor, the state budget is our biggest,
okay.
probably.
Yes.
Oop, Joe's got his
Yep.
hearing aid.
I'm
It's telling him things.
No, I'm just getting word that Peter is on his way down.
We're gonna let Peter come
great.
in and tell you what we do. I'll go back.
You should continue this
So what
discussion.
folks like Representative Capano and Armenian Wong and I do is we're part of 160 members of the House of Representatives. So when you think about a 7 million population state represented by 160 people, our districts are anywhere between 40,000 and 45,000 people. Our biggest role is monitoring the state budget and ensuring that funds flow from state tax revenues to necessary programs, to cities, to towns, to schools, to healthcare, to bridges, to roads, to anything you can imagine that the state funds, and we hand those funds, a lot of it, over to the cities and towns to manage, or state agencies. We work very closely with the Governor Healy, and her team, and we also have a 40-member Senate. And I don't know what they do.
How big is your budget?
Boy, we're up to, the last one was about 60 billion.
That's a lot of money.
It keeps on going up and up and up. But
here is the man of the hour.
More importantly,
Representative Peter Capano.
Peter, we have your hat.
That's definitely a you hat.
No, come on, Peter. I got this for you. I brought this because I knew you were coming down.
You gotta have some kind of props or something.
We got an hour to talk to you.
Peter, so great to see you.
Nice to see you, Magnolia and Dan. Joe, how are you?
How are you?
Thank you for coming down.
There he is.
Thank you for coming down.
Yeah, I thought I'd stop by, and I just really wanted to come here to thank the constituents of the 11th Essex District, Ward 6, 7, 5, and 4, and Nahant, for giving me the opportunity over the years, to represent them. I've always tried to do the best I could and always try to have the working person in mind. And, we got some accomplishments, and I always say, Dan always hears me say, if you live long enough, you actually get to see some of the things you started out with many years ago. Actually, with Magnolia, a long time ago. So I just want to thank everybody and congratulate. Is it official?
It's unofficially
official.
Unofficial, Sean Reed and Hognett, both of them great human beings. You can't go wrong with either one of them. They're going to represent the district very, very well, and and they're going to have plenty of support because it's a great team in the legislature with Rep Cahill, Dan, Brendan, and Jenny, and myself. If there's anything I can do, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving. So I'll be around. I'm glad to help, and mainly just wanted to thank everybody and congratulate the winner.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming.
You're still there till January.
I'm still there to January, and I'll be around. And that's right. That's right. Yep. Till December, and we'll show the new person a new office. Myself and Dan got two offices adjacent to each other, and it's a great spot.
Pete, what is one of the things that you're most proud of as your time in legislature?
People ask me that. I go back so long. I found an article in the Lynn item. It was with me and Darren Sear when we first got elected to the city council years ago, and they asked, what do you want to do? I just elected, the city council, and in it says the abandoned railroad tracks and the combined sewer overflow. You can't really run a campaign and say, I want to fix your sewers. People got to get all excited about that, right? We get that $200 million CSO project going on. Hopefully he's going to alleviate flooding in West Lynn. And we got the bike path. But there's just so many other things and so many stories, anything we could do over the years, especially in the legislature, we always try to help out the working person, seniors, people that, just don't have two nickels to make a dime, and that's what I was there for, and that's what I try to represent. And like I said, if you're there long enough, you actually get to see some of the stuff happen. So.
Well,
You've been around as long as me. You see some of the stuff that was enacted being repealed.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Ocean City's coming back. What's next on the agenda, Pete? What are you gonna tell some folks? What are we gonna do next?
I don't know. I got some things going on. That I always wanted to do. My whole life, things I did before, Things from years ago. You know.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. You're blessed.
I
You're
was
blessed.
into music, before. I probably do some of that. I also like to try and work or create some sort of organization that can just change the way people think right now. And I just don't like what's going on, rational people supporting a fascist dictator. I just want to bring people back to reality because, there's a story to tell. And I think Lynn candidates do that very well. When you tell an economic story, a message about how, if you have a full-time job, you should be able to raise a family, right? You should have health care, You should be able to retire with dignity. You shouldn't have to be worried about losing your Social Security and Medicare. If you can tell that story, you have a winning message. And, we need to know which people are bringing that, to the people and who is, really fake. And so I like to get involved with something like that, too. And we'll see. I'm not in a rush. And like Joe said, I'm still there till December anyways. And
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we were speaking with Jay Walsh earlier today, and I believe that the two of you were working on you appearing at the Christmas parade as a singing Elvis.
as a what?
A singing Elvis. You'll be playing Elvis in the Christmas parade, I heard, with the whole guitar and the whole hugga hugga burning love.
No, that would be.
That's what Jay was saying.
That will be.
Jay was pretty adamant about it.
No, I might bring back the leather jacket. I might do that.
Oh, you put it
Dan
away?
was more adamant than Jay was, yeah.
I don't know. Jay was really excited about
Well.
it. He said, we got Pete. So, Pete, now you have this one opportunity.
Yes.
Now you get to hear airing grievances. Who would you like to tell out there never to call you again?
That's easy, Dan Cahill.
I may be the only one. I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'm
Staying
joking.
away from anything that you're leading into.
One day I will give that list out.
So smart.
One day I will give that
Yeah.
list.
Peter, we wanted to started the program by thanking you. I hope you were able to see
I was
and listen
driving
to us.
around trying to
You'll
find out, what's going on.
So the wonderful thing about Lynn Cam is that you can go back and watch it, and
Okay,
we can
will. Well,
share how much we appreciate
I know,
you
I
and your
really-
efforts.
And I appreciate, me and Dan have worked together for a long time,
20 years.
on the council, and I don't know if people know, me and Magnolia,
I told them.
I remember
Yeah, she told the
doing
story.
Get Out to Vote, years and years
Yes.
ago, knocking
I
on
told
people,
them that
when
you were
people
part-
actually knocked on people's doors full time.
I credited you with part of why I'm sitting here
Oh.
way back then.
Oh.
Yes, you taught me the ropes.
You were
and
great
Agnes.
then, you're great now, so.
Say that again.
Hold on, we have
No.
rewind.
That's why we
Thank
put
you,
him up on
Pete.
YouTube. Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. So
Thank
now
you
where
so
are you off
much.
to now? You're gonna go to one of the. You gonna go to one
Yeah,
of
I'm
the.
gonna go say hi to the candidates, congratulate the winner, and both of them. Like I said, you can't go wrong with either one. Anyways, thank you.
Thank
Thank
Pete.
you,
Thank you
Pete.
very
We'll
much
miss
for all your service,
you.
brother.
We'll see you, Joe.
I think we'll
See
see
ya.
your service differently.
Meg,
He's not going anywhere.
no, he's not.
Adios.
going.
Yes. Bye.
Best man with a bullhorn there is in the city, Lynn. Peter Capano.
So-
Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
Pete.
Peter.
We're gonna do a wrap up, and I think Magnolia would
Wrap-up.
like you to repeat your public service announcement.
Happy to do that. So if you liked what you saw this evening, we want to encourage you to consider becoming a member or a sponsor. Being a sponsor not only helps us pay our bills, but it also helps your organization or business get their name out there. But both as an individual member or sponsor, we can also help you create the content, and we'd be happy to do that. And if you wanted to find out more, please visit linntv.org or simply come to our office at 181 Union Street, and somebody will be happy to help you. We want more people in the community to support this program and to support LynnCam, and so please consider becoming a member or a business member. Thank you.
Fantastic job.
And we're gonna have a final wrap up of the results, I believe.
Here we go.
So,
So Sean Reed.
Fantastic. Sean
Reed
Reed,
is-
congratulations.
congratulations,
Now,
Sean.
if you want to congratulate Sean Reed, I believe he's having a congratulatory party tonight at Trios on Market Street. And I believe, folks, they're free past apps. So if you want to get down there and enjoy some delicious food from Trios on Sean Reed's dime, head on down.
And we are also still blessed that Hong Net will still be part of the city council.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
it's a win-win of sorts
He's
for
the
the
dean
city.
of the city council now.
Is
He's the
he the
longest serving
dean?
member.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
That's congrats.
That time flies.
Right?
So there are no losers.
And here's the Register of Deeds wrap up again.
And Eileen Duff's done a great job. She's really worked hard. Joe, gentleman, fantastic gentleman, but also ran a great
Wow.
campaign. Don't know much about Mr. Ring, but it sounds like he's doing okay. But Eileen has done a tremendous job. in
She's
this
been around
campaign.
a long
That.
time.
She's a
Governor's
very nice,
counselor.
very
Yeah.
nice, very knowledgeable realtor. Knows the ins and outs of real estate transactions. She would be a great registrar.
And then Register of Deeds, Clerk of Courts, I'm sorry.
Tom Driscoll,
Tom Driscoll.
incumbent,
Wow.
very strong showing. Reflects the amount of work you
Yes.
put into it.
And the area he's from, he's deep roots in this area.
Yeah.
Deep, deep roots.
Yes.
And of course, like every election night, there's also another party on Merrill Ave, which would be at the Coco's house. Honestly, the Ward 3 City Councilor has a election night extravaganza, whether it's a city election, state election, he doesn't care if it's a
Coco
Girl
may
Scout
want to be
election.
texted first.
That man is him and Peter are
Text
throwing the
him
party
first.
right now. Free food, free beverages. 19, which is the mayor's.
Well,
I heard they blocked the street off
I
this
was
year.
good.
Usually, you're right. Actually, that's where I'm heading now with my hat, because Coco's, throwing it down there, and I'm going to show up, and it's going to be amazing.
It's been a fun night.
Well,
Please
this was
consider
great.
becoming a member
When are we going to do it again?
the next election.
Well,
We
probably
gotta do this
next
again?
year. I don't know if we're doing the, this.
Oh, we got to do it for November. That's the big one. There could be some shockers. By the way, we never talked about that. Real quick, November election. It's going to have some impact, I think, statewide
Significant impact.
on tight legislative races and tight county races throughout the state. It'll be very interesting to see, I'm sure, that the presidential election will really impact down
That's right.
ballot.
It should, yes.
That's right.
So we'll be back in November, whether they like us or not.
Well, you might be here by yourself, but that's all right.
Whatever it happens, please consider to vote. Please vote in November. It's really important.
Very important.
Very important. Quality candidates.
Yes, quality candidates.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy
Have a good
election night.
evening.
Congratulations to all the campaigns and all the
And our
victories for
hats
them.
are off to you, Dan.
Win again. Thank you.
Good evening.